very special guest today. His name is Meir Bronstein, and he is in Jerusalem. And you can see him probably right now, the way he's dressed, he's a Hasid. Some of you who follow some of the things that I do know that I was a rabbi in Venezuela for many years. Prior to that, I was a rabbi in New York. I was a rabbi for some 56 years. I'm now the rabbi emeritus of the Jewish community of Caracas, but I still try to do some things for the Jewish community in general because I can't stay put in one place. I have to do something. And one of the things I try to do now is to present some interesting people, some people that I find have done things that are out of the norm, what we normally see being done. And today I think I have somebody. Well, the reason for choosing this gentleman today is because I spent my youth in Lima, Peru. My late father was the rabbi of Peru many, many years ago. In 1934, he came to Peru. And the reason why he was selected as the first rabbi of the Jewish community was because he also had other talents. He was also a shofet, a moel, and they couldn't afford to have different people fulfilling the necessities of the Jewish community, the religious necessity. So they invited my late father to come, and after he settled down, he brought over his wife and 3 sons, and I was the youngest of the 3 sons. I was 4 years old at the time. I went through elementary and high school in Lima, Peru, and when I finished high school, my father just shipped me off to the United States, and that was the end of my living in Peru. I lived then in the United States and in Venezuela. I visited Peru a couple of times, but I also knew what was the structure of the Jewish community in Lima, Peru. There was a community, I think, basically of people that came from Germany, and there was a little liberal, and I think, and I mention it again, I may be mistaken, so don't write it down. There was a Dr. Carol, who was the rabbi of that community, and eventually it became a conservative community, like the style of the United States Marshall Meir Seminary in Buenos Aires. And a rabbi by the name of Guillermo Bronstein came to Peru to lead that congregation. He's done a tremendous job. But, you know, they're conservative. I don't want to go into what is the difference in Orthodox conservative. That's for another theme. But, you know, they try to somehow modernize a little bit, make Judaism a little more up to date, especially when it comes to women, giving women certain rights in the synagogue that in an Orthodox synagogue they do not have. In any event, this is Rabbi Guillermo Bronstein, who has done a tremendous job in his community. He has a son by the name of Meir. Suddenly, I see in the media a young man, Meir. He came from Lima, Peru, and he's a Hasid today. What's going on here? You know, his family was a traditional family, but as I say to you, it wasn't an Orthodox family, really. So Meir could have become conservative right, Orthodox liberal, I don't know what. Suddenly, I'm confronted with a guy with face, with a beard, look at the hat, look at what's doing here. So I became very curious, and I asked Meir if he would be kind enough to speak with me and to let everyone know, including myself, how did he get there? How did you arrive in Jerusalem, growing up in a conservative home in Lima, Peru? How did that happen?
Well, Rabbi Brener, thank you very much. It's my honor to be here. My English is not so good as yours, so I'll try my best. Thank you very much for the opportunity. First of all, as I was talking to the rabbi before, I grew up in a conservative home, right? But when I was younger, like 18 years old, 19, I had a problem in my life. I suffered, how do you say robo a mano armada?
Well, you were not kidnapped. You were.
Oh, no, that's a
got a revolver.
Someone put a gun in my head.
Someone
put a gun in my head, and he tried to pull the trigger, and that created me a lot of problems in my mental health. And I started.
You were held up. Held up is the word.
Yeah, so I started to have a lot of problems in my mental health, and I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of fears, a lot of these kind of things. And I found in the library of my father beautiful books, the tales of the Baal Shem Tov and the first Hasidic masters. Beautiful books that I started reading and reading and reading, and I
By whom?
found
By Buber, right?
right, the Buber. And I found that I have here, by the way, this is from my father, is the first edition, 1938. It's the first edition that they made in Spanish. It's a treasure I have. And I found in these books many answers to my fears. Which answers? That I should believe that Hashem did what he did to teach me something. That everything that happens goes with Hashgacha Pratit. That Hashem is taking care of me, even when I had to suffer something, he did it for the good. Many things that really improved my mental health and helped me to find a way to go out of these problems and to get in a better position, to get in a better health, you know. And I really wanted to be like them. I really wanted to try to be like these simple persons. You know, the Baal Shem Tov, he always used to say, I'm just a simple Yid. I'm just a simple Jew. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be a simple person that has such connection with the Creator, such connection with Hashem. And it really inspired me. It really, really inspired me to start a journey through many things that happen in the moment, to start a journey to Hasidus. So that was the first part.
You know, Meir, there's a very famous book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People.
Right.
Right. And he has a different kind of explanation, but you say that anything that happens to a human being is for a reason. It's for Kol Ma de Rachmana Avid Letav Avid. Whatever God does, it's for your benefit, that
Right.
you have complete trust. Go ahead.
Right. So I was amazed. I was really amazed, because I really wanted to have a connection. I knew I was Jewish. I knew my father was a rabbi, but I used to live in Peru. It's not an Orthodox community. And I knew that there was a Torah, and the Torah used to give us, not it used, it give us laws and ways to live. You know, how it's written now in the next parasha, Ele bechukotai, nachon? These are the laws you will follow. And I didn't understood how could it be that these people do it. They really follow Torah, and they were such simple people and such elevated in spirituality. How do you say spiritualidad?
Spirituality.
So I was so amazed, and I think that was like the first click I made in my neshama. And then it took me other years. I traveled to Argentina to try to study there a BA. And while I was in Argentina, I was me'achutz chiloni. I remembered Hasidic
What does
tales.
chiloni mean? Non-observant, right?
Non-observant, but me'achutz, 100% non-observant. I used to remember. I remember that there are Hasidic tales and everything, but it simply didn't fit on me on that time. And it happens that I got problems in university. Argentina was involved in a very, very big economic crisis. So they closed the university, and I had nothing to do in the mornings. So I talked to my father, and my father sent it to me to the chief rabbi, Isaac Saka, in Argentina. He has a yeshiva. It's involved with Olami movement. So I went there, and suddenly there was another click on my soul. Another click, and I started learning Gemara, and I started learning Halacha, and I started learning Musar, and that gave me more koyach to understand the values of Judaism and why should I follow Torah. And then it happens that they pay me with all their hearts, Baruch Hashem, they pay me a trip to Israel to study here in yeshiva. And I came to study in a Litvish yeshiva. Before I was talking to the Rav for the people who is watching the interview, we were talking about why I decided to be Hasidish and not Litvish, no, the or normal yeshiva way to be, right? And the answer is very simple. They pay me to be I study 1 month in a Litvish yeshiva, and I simply couldn't. My neshama it didn't fit there either. It was too strict, and I couldn't say what I wanted to say, or I couldn't believe what I wanted to believe, or I couldn't express what I wanted to express, because it says this, it's this. Zeu, nothing more to discuss, right? So no, I wanted to discuss why it's written this, why I have to do this, why I need to believe like this, why I need to think like this, right? So that was my experience. But in this trip, when I was in Israel, a friend took me to a Hasidut called Boyan. And in Boyan, I came back to all these stories that I used to read in these books. People speaking
in Jerusalem, right?
In Jerusalem, right. People speaking in Yiddish. For the people who also know, Boyan is a Hasidut here. It's a very big Hasidut. People speaking in Yiddish, people dancing, people singing, people dressed with streimel and bekishes. This is called a bekishes. And it was a beautiful Hasidic Shabbos. You know, I came there and I was expecting a normal Lecha Dodi, you know, Lecha Dodi, Likrat. And then the Gavai did, Lecho Dodi, Likras Kalavanei Shabbos Nekavlo. And everyone started dancing and singing, and it was so beautiful that I really got attached to that. So in that night, I realized I wanted to be a Chosid. This is my derech. It's true that I used to thought that Hasidus, it was like these tales, you know, like the very simple people that they go through their hearts and they go to try to reach every Jew and to talk to every Jew and to try to bring every Jew to Torah, and there was no fanatism in this world, and So when I made Aliyah and I came to Israel and I started getting involved in different Hasidus, especially in Boyan too, so I realized that between Litvish world and Hasidic world, there was not such a big difference.
Excuse me, just on the word Litvish refers to Lithuanian type, because the big yeshivas were in Lithuania at that time, and
right.
They were transported to Israel. Keep on going.
So okay, it's fine. I mean, it's a derech, it's a way, but I really believe that the Torah has 70 faces. You know, it's not about, or I do this like everyone and that's all, because if not, I don't have Olam Haba. Or no, it's the Torah. You can follow Torah in many ways, and I needed to find a way that I could be a Chosid in Torah. So I started a search in Hasidus, and between COVID, between the Seger, how do you say Seger in Spanish? I'm sorry, in English, quarantine.
Quarantine, right?
Between the quarantine, I had a very, very big issue in my life, and I needed to talk to the Rebbe. So I called the Gavai, and the Gavai said, "Listen, Meir, the Rebbe is out of the office. He is in vacations. Like this is the first time in his life that he can be a father and he can be a husband and not a Rebbe. So he's out of the office." So I had a lot of, I don't know, I was lost in that moment. So I talked to a psychologist, it's a friend of mine, and he is a Chosid from a Hasidut called Spinka. So I talked to him and I said, "Listen, I need to talk to someone, and I know that you're a psychologist. Maybe you can help me. I was trying to find the Rebbe, but the Rebbe, bechule. And he said to me, "Listen, don't worry. Tonight, we're going to have a Zoom meeting with my Rebbe, and you can join." And I was like, wait a minute. So I know all this Olam Hasidut that everyone says to you, don't use phones, don't use smartphones, don't use computers, don't use whatever. And now you're telling me that there's a Rebbe that is going to make a Zoom? So he said, yeah, my Rebbe makes a Zoom every Thursday night, and he gives Rashi, and you can join, and you can join even the Tish. He used to sing in the videos previously. Now that Corona finished, he stopped, but he used to sing in the videos. And I was amazed. So I joined the Zoom, I met the Rebbe, and I found a derech Hasidut that it goes with my beliefs and where I found myself, you know, where I found my Yiddishkeit. And
so you're a Spinka Chosid today.
Right. And it's very important to find a place where you fit. It's a mitzvah to find your community, right?
Tell me, are you married?
I'm married, yeah. I'm married, happily married with a beautiful woman that I have in front of me. She's from Peru too.
Where's your wife from?
Peru. She's from Peru too.
Does she come from a religious background or?
No, she doesn't come from a religious background. She came to Israel like 2 years ago to make tshuva. And it was very funny, but she studied in a yeshiva with a rebbetzin that is the rebbetzin of the wife of my best friend. Did you got the idea? Complicated. So the rebbetzin knew me, and she called me once and she said, "Hey, I know a girl from Peru, then maybe you can be interested in her. I know you're from Peru, she's from Peru. Go to meet each other." Okay, bestseller. So we went one night and we saw each other, and it was so funny. And we dated for a couple of meetings, and Baruch Hashem, we got married like 1 year ago. Mamish 1 year ago. In August will be 1 year.
Interesting. You traveled thousands of miles from Peru to Israel to find a Peruvian girl in Israel. And that's whom you met, which is very good, by the way, because you probably have a lot of things in common. You both speak Spanish too, by the way, don't you?
Right. It's what Rambam said, right? You marry someone from your street, and if not from your blog, and if not from your city, and if not from your, like Rambam.
Well, that was Basher. That was destiny somehow. You know, and you say everything comes from God, whatever happens, good, bad, everything comes from God. Well, this also came from God. So, by the way, it says that the Eibush says, Mezaveg zivugim. He pairs people. So, a Roman matron tried to do the same thing, and she paired off 50 couples, but they started fighting immediately. Only God is mezaveg zibugim.
One of the favorite stories of my wife.
Yeah. Tell me, how do you make a living in Israel? What do you do?
I try to make a living in Israel. So I have 3 works. First of all, I do YouTube. I have a channel with 108,000 followers.
Wow.
You see the YouTube how do you say premium award? The YouTube award. Yes.
Okay.
Right. And first of all, is that I work on that. I make videos, and the idea of these videos is to make a Kiddush Hashem, showing to people what it be Jew, what it means to be a frum Yid. The frum Yiddishkeit, it's beautiful, and you have a lot of faces in the frum Yiddishkeit. Even a Yid, a Jew who lives in Tel Aviv, and he wears shorts and short sleeves, and you see him and you said he's not Jewish, he's Hiloni, whatever. But every morning he wakes up and he puts film. Even that guy is a great Yid. It's a tzaddik. So I try to show to the people that the Judaism is not about having a hat or living in a ghetto in Mea Shearim or in Borough Park. It's about everything you do to connect the world with Hashem. So that's the first work. The second work I do, I am a life coach, and I help people with the Hasidic idea of Akol min hashamayim, everything from Shamayim, Akol im simcha, everything with simcha, with happiness, and Hashgacha pratit, that everything it's written and you need to accept it and live it. And I work with people in their transitions in life with this. And the third work I do, I'm a teacher in Machon Legiur, in certain places that they teach halacha for people who is making giur right now in Israel. These are
want to convert to Judaism.
People who wants to convert, right?
Well,
people who's converting to Judaism.
I want to tell you that it has been a privilege speaking to you. I admire you. I admire you for your clarity of thought, for your deep faith, and maybe what is most important, that you don't stop in faith and in thought, you put it in practice. You live according to your ideas. And I am sure that your wife joins you in your thoughts, and you're going to have a very happy life, and God should bless you with many children, that you should be able to transmit what you received from generations prior to you. Who knows? Maybe your great-great-great-grandfather was a chassid already. And here you are in the 21st 21st century. Where are we? In the 21st century. And here you are with payas, with a hat, living in Yerushalayim, and what you consider is authentic Judaism. God give you strength. God bless you. And I salute your parents, your father in particular, for the great job he does in Lima, Peru. And I wish you Hatzlacha, Arichat Yamim, and clarity of mind and love and affection in your family.
Amen, amen. Thank you very much, Rabbi Brener. It was an honor for me. You should have Brucha V'Tzlucha too. And I have something for you, very fast. Yes. Do you know the rabbi in the middle?
Yeah, I met him more than once. There was a Rabbi Shalem there on the side.
Right. So I have all these pictures from your father. And I used to go on this book many times and read about your father. I really admire you and your father.
Take a look. In my desk.
Oh, that's a beautiful picture.
Is always a photo of my father, my late mother. And then my father used to wear a shtreimel.
On
Friday nights in the synagogue.
Wow.
Only Friday nights he wore a shtreimel. But it's a different kind of shtreimel. Okay, the best to you, Meir, and God bless you with all the blessings you deserve. The
Thank
best
you very
to
much.
you.
All the best.
Thank you so much.